Well, hello, you wonderful humans. Welcome back to something we haven't gotten to do basically an entire year. Some astrophotography. We got my good friend Dustin with us today.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, if the clouds go away. But
yeah,
no.
it looked like they'd pass, right?
Yeah, it looks like they'll pass, so that'll be good. But thank you for taking some time out of your day to come do this with me.
No,
We haven't gotten to stream together
It's
in
always fun.
a hot minute.
On here, at least, yeah. It's been what, a year, something like that.
Yeah, at least. I don't think we ever even did a stream together on YouTube, did we? Because we did stuff together on Twitch, but I don't think we've ever done one together here.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I don't know. I kind of lost track of
that's fair.
where things have been and what it was, but but yes, and it's always fun. So wherever it is right now, I think it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So Trash Panda was saying she's got a Celestron Astromaster 130 EQ. Is that what was the one that that Charles had?
He had God, what was that? He just brought an 8-inch Evolution, Celestron Evolution. That thing's awesome.
I was after he showed that to me, I want to get one not only for me, but really for the kids, but also for me. My excuse is for the kids.
yeah, it's for the kids, and you're the only person that uses it. Yeah, that thing's awesome because it's still portable, but it just runs off your cell phone, so you know you don't have to have like a hand controller. You know, you just type in Saturn or just click on it on the Sky Safari app, and then it goes to Saturn. It's just, I like simplicity. I mean, I like your system is crazy complex, and I like those too. My observatory is like that, but there's something to be said, especially for a visual system that's just like plug and play, turn it on, and just start looking at stuff.
I was drooling. Like yeah, my system is like massive and complex, and I can photograph like things 30 million light years away. But then just the ease of being able to just be like, I want to look at this and don't have to do anything else, and it just figures it out for you. Now my goal actually over the next like month is to build something like that anybody can just put together with like any scope or anything like that. And I think I figured out how to do it too.
You figured out how to build just like a turnkey system? Yeah.
So there's a software program that we can that you can attach from a camera. That'll send it to your phone. You'll be able to just do it from your phone. I got to figure out how easy it is to use. But I was looking up videos and stuff like that on people that were doing similar things. And I'm excited because somebody just said they were running the Raptor, and that's what I want to use for it. So I was actually trying to figure out how to get it to work this afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Look at that, man. That scope has a big chunk of my heart, man. We put a lot of love into that little scope. Have you used it yet?
I have gotten to use it. I've gotten to use it 2 times. I haven't shared any of the images from it because I did like maybe like, I haven't shared any images from it, mainly just because, you know how I am with my photos. I do like months before I before I release a photo. But I'm gonna take this to the Big Bend with me next time. That's what we're gonna use when I go down there.
For wide field, I feel like it's a perfect focal length, like 275, right in that range. That 250 to 275. I mean, that's camera lens wide. Oh
yeah.
So if you're going after those big targets like Andromeda or especially things like the North America Pelican, or if you want to get two targets in the same image, like I've always wanted this and I've never done it. I need to do this, but the Orion Nebula and the Horsehead in the same image. Ooh. You can do that with a full frame chip on a scope that wide. You can't do that with most of the scopes that we end up shooting with.
Yeah, that's a hell of a shot. I've seen a couple people, I think that I've only seen really like mosaics, but man, getting both the Orion and the Horsehead in there is, you'd probably have to do 2 panels with the Raptor maybe?
We were just looking at it today. No, depending on which camera do you have on that?
So I have the 6200 on this one.
Okay, you should be able to do it. It's going to be right in the corners, but you should be able to pull both into the image on that.
That would be phenomenal. I didn't even think about that. Well, I guess that's what I'm going to shoot when I go to the Big Bend now. I was trying to figure out what it was going to be. I was thinking maybe doing the elephant's trunk again. It's like my favorite target, but maybe doing that.
Yeah, well,
Um,
the problem with the horse head, though, I say that you can get the horse head and the flame in one corner, and then the Orion Nebula in the other corner. But the problem with the horse head is that it just goes on forever. Like the
yeah,
horse head itself is a really tiny piece of the nebula, but I feel like the entire Orion constellation is just one gigantic nebula. You know?
yeah, it is. I'm gonna pull up the shot I took of the horse head just so that I can show how massive this thing actually is, because it's big, because it goes just up and down across from it pretty substantially. Fit to screen. There we go. So that's the Horsehead Nebula that we're talking about. This is the one that I photographed December of last year. Hey,
Yeah,
Zoe.
that is absurd, man. Like that image is just crazy. The framing, everything. But this is what I'm talking about. Look how, I mean, there's more stuff around it. Like the horse head itself is really awesome, and it's one of those iconic, targets. You have to shoot it when you're doing astronomy.
Yeah.
It's always the thing. Like, it was the first one I really wanted to tackle. And when you do, it's so rewarding. But after you shoot it the first time, you realize, like, yeah, I didn't even shoot the real target. The real target is all the stuff around it, especially that top piece.
Yeah, so getting the details in that top piece was fun, just because you have to, because it's really faint dust lanes and stuff in there, and then making sure not to blow out it's called the Flame Nebula. That's that piece next to the left of the horse head, right?
Yeah, the flame is to the left of it. But so was this like processing magic for the two stars on the left side of the image? How they're not just completely blown out and massive?
It's actually not. I did that all pretty much in camera. Mainly what I did was when I processed the image, I just did a star mask for it, so I didn't explode it really.
Okay, so it wasn't. You're not doing like HDR imaging or anything.
No. I did that with the Orion Nebula. The shot that I did of Orion.
Yeah, well, you have to. Orion it's the easiest target to shoot, and the most difficult.
Orion almost made me rage quit astrophotography there for a little bit.
Rage quit.
Because I knew what I wanted to get out of it, but at the time I didn't know how to get what I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
So getting all the detail in the dust lanes without blowing out the core of Orion and everything.
Yeah. Look at that image though. How much time did you put into that one?
So I photographed this the entire Orion season, was just trying to, because I shot it with color camera. So I did a full, I think I did 140 shots of color, but at different, I did 60 seconds, 5 minutes, and 30 seconds to get the faint details of the core. And then I would stack those 30-second ones on top of it and then slowly bring out the detail from there. And then I shot it all in HA to get the dust lanes and everything, and then applied that to the HA data.
Yeah, that's a beautiful image. Is that the full res right there? Can you zoom into that, or will it break it?
God, yeah, no. This so this one is, let me see if
yeah.
This one is scaled down.
6200.
But reset, transform. There we go. So this is the Running Man zoomed in. And then the core down here.
Oh my God, look at that.
I spent more time on this one than I did literally any other image so far.
Oh my God, man. Is that the 6200 you shot that with?
Yeah. I love that camera. It's just the details you get out of it. I really like right through here, because it's just so smooth through there.
Yeah, that's you had to spend a ton of time in PixInsight with this thing.
I think I spent
so much detail.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time learning in PixInsight, but then most of it was just in Photoshop, blending the different exposures together and making it look not crazy.
Yeah, man, I do not like Photoshop. You still use Photoshop for most of your processing?
No, I'd say I use Photoshop for the final touches. But if it's going to be, this is HDR, I guess. So I use Photoshop to do my final adjustments. So I do color correction in Photoshop, denoise in Photoshop, and what I do is clarity boosts, so to boost those dust lanes and everything without blowing out the stars and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially around the little baby stars, the trapezium.
Yeah.
It's like that's the if you look at like my images, they always have that part blown out because I never HDR it. And so for you, I mean, this is a lot of dynamic range in this image, a lot. So you must have done really short exposures to get the core like that.
Oh yeah. Those were, I think I did 15 and 30 seconds. I don't know which I ended up using at the end. And then I think I did 6 stages of bringing out detail and then layering the core back into it to make sure I didn't lose anything.
Yeah,
Do I
no
have
big deal.
Astrobin? I don't. I have Instagram, but I don't really post a lot there. Dustin's been yelling at me to step up my Instagram game for like a year.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the community there. That's the only reason. It's not like, hey, I need to see your Instagram post.
Yeah,
It's just,
exactly.
there's a community there, and people are asking questions, and I mean, you have a lot of answers, and we can contribute help there.
Hey Ariel, how are you doing? Kira, Deb, Allison, and Jefferson. Equipment is equipment. You got talent now. You have a good eye. Thank you, Jefferson. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Speech. Oh, you talk to text. That's why it was like that. I gotcha. I got to bring up your stuff, man. Yours. Seeing your images was what really started to push me to getting the bigger telescopes to get like the up close, because you have probably my favorite shot of the Elephant's Trunk Nebula that I've seen.
That's actually a pretty old image, but I haven't been able to shoot very much recently. Actually, my observatories aren't even running. They haven't been running for the last several months right now. All because of a Nest camera, but should have those back up and running soon. I'm excited to start shooting again, man. I miss it. This stuff gets in your blood and you can't get it out. You have to have it. It's like your meditation,
Oh yeah, I've felt like I've been like having the shakes and like man, because for like the first 6 months that I did astrophotography, that's what I did every single night for the first 6 months, and I would just stay up until 4 a.m. just looking at things and like processing data or just trying to still just learn it. And then for the past year, I haven't been able, or the following 7 months, I haven't been able to do any of that.
Yeah, well, the weather's been so terrible in most of the country. Everybody's been messaging me and they're just like, oh man, have you had any clear nights? I'm like, we don't get clear nights as much as we've been getting, a few clear hours. It's kind of what you're dealing with right now. You go out there and it's supposed to be clear, and then, it's not.
Yeah. So Dustin is one of the most modest people I know. Like your photos are freaking insane. Yeah, I think it was this one of the horse head. It's just such a pretty, it's just like when you look out into space and then just see like this big halo around what looks like an elephant's trunk, or some people say it's looks like a lady bathing or something like that. I don't see that, but I know you had another one in here.
I don't know, man. It's been a while, actually.
Like this shot, you shot this with a kid, right?
No, that was the one right above that, the whirlpool right there. That was a 12-year-old. I let him take over the observatory on Twitch, and he was just like a super space fan. It's probably my favorite image ever. Actually, I think maybe there was another one posted even higher up or more recently, but anyway, his name is William, and he's just a super space fan. And his long story short, his mom ran into my dad, 3,000 miles away from where I was, and they were talking about it. And she's like, "Oh, my son loves space, and like we sit at home and we look at Dustin's Instagram at dinner, and he talks about space like all night." And so we were like, "Let's get him in the observatory. Let's log this kid into my observatory in California in the desert." And so he logged in from Georgia into that observatory, and I just told him, I was like, "Look, this is going to be your image, but you have to do everything. I will assist you, I will teach you, I'll help you, but every call has to be yours." And that's the image he came up with. And honestly, I think it's probably the best image on my feed, and it's not even mine. It's this 12-year-old kid that's just
Yeah,
A space lover.
that's I like so I can edit galaxies pretty good, but or not galaxies, nebula, but galaxies, that's a whole different animal,
Oh, it's a
especially when you're
challenge.
shooting it in narrowband. And the detail, like look at this, like the core, like you can see all the
He
nebula,
killed
the
it.
dust lanes
He
in there.
absolutely killed it.
I
And
haven't
that's
seen,
dude,
I've seen like 70-year-old people doing this for like 30 years that can't even come close to this. Like he's 12 years old.
yeah, 12 years old, just taking it to a new level. And that's two galaxies, what, 28 million light years away. That's still, I mean, I talk about space all day every day, and it's still just, even saying something like that just blows my mind. We're talking 186,000 miles every single second. Every second you're traveling 186,000 miles, and it still takes you 28 million years to get here. That's how far away it is. And this kid is casually logging in and just, taking this
Yeah.
absolute banger of an image, breaking Instagram for the day. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's amazing. I mean, we're looking at two galaxies that have collided, and one passed through the other and basically ripped its arms off.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. The
it's
whole
it's
process.
it's a beautiful galaxy. It's one that I've always wanted to photograph too. I tried a little bit
You
this
gotta
year.
do it. You have the
But,
right scope now.
Yeah, I definitely have it now. I missed my opportunity to photograph it. This is also one, the Helix Nebula, the Eye of God, is one that I have been jonesing to photograph.
That's tough, man. That one is a challenge. I put 90 hours into that thing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's really great detail.
Yeah, 90 hours though. I mean, I think you could probably do it because you have the right system for that target. I think you could really, the goal is to get all that stuff in the middle. Everything, the detail in the blue. If you look at my image, I lost a lot of that detail. I had to kind of intentionally blur the image because the detail was just broken. But with your camera, I think you could probably get some pretty amazing stuff on that.
Yeah, we'll have to do once you get your observatories up too, because we'll be using almost the same stuff at that point.
Yeah.
Is this is Andromeda? This core of Andromeda? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I just wanted to see. Just how much detail we could get, in just the core of it, giving up the rest with the big scope, and that's what I came up with.
That's pretty awesome. That is phenomenal. So to update on everybody what's going on, we got clouds outside right now. We had planned to kind of give you like a tour of the stars using my my telescope in the backyard, and so I figured we'd take a look at the moon. It's not really set up to look at like Saturn or anything like that, but we might be able to maybe see the rings. I don't know. If the clouds leave. If not, we'll probably just take a look at everybody's images and chat. And you guys got any news coming from OPT for scopes? I know you guys got the Radian. Oh, actually, I know there's a lot of people that have been looking for the Radian, and I believe that's in stock now. I've got a link in the description as well for that.
The Radian 61 is in stock. I say that. It was as of Friday. It doesn't mean it necessarily is now.
Yeah.
I think there were like 60 left on Friday. So maybe it's in stock. I should know.
I've got to order myself one before they go to stock. I want to order another one. Have just a Radian binoculars.
Yeah, one of my good friends just did that out at SRO, Sierra Remote Observatory. He put two Radian 61 side by side right next to his plane wave. So he has a 17-inch plane wave, and he wanted exactly what we talk about all the time, the perspective. Like your image doesn't have context when you shoot at too long a focal length. It's just the target. But when you back way out and you shoot wide field, which is why he has the two scopes to double his data, he can shoot wide field and show like, hey, this is the constellation this is in. Here's where it actually is. Here's the context to give this more meaning.
That's gonna be awesome. Has he started using it yet?
It just got delivered. Right now with shipping and freight companies, you ship something and it just shows up when it shows up. So it just got delivered. I think Friday actually. So
nice.
Should be getting installed this week, and super excited about it. But that scope is a really good way to do the wide stuff, and to just give, like I said, man, that context is important because it's easy to get lost in all of this stuff and think of them as targets instead of places, right?
Yeah.
Because these are I mean, these are places. You could travel here with the right technology, at least. Like, it's
Yeah.
not just this colorful thing out in the sky.
Allison was just saying it's whack how these things exist, that we can take pictures and visualize these things. And not only visualize, but maybe one day even visit. Like, let alone all the other galaxies that are out there, but the nebulas within our own galaxy, and there's just so many crazy things out there. It's especially when you start getting into the, like, thinking about, like, when you're imaging, like, that light actually came from there. So you're capturing this light that traveled, you know, thousands or millions of light years through space to finally actually, like, land on your sensor for you to be able to see. It's not like we're just seeing light that's, like, around us. This is light that has traveled, you know, from something that might not even exist today. Like, as you said before, like ghosts, pretty much.
Yeah, you know, when I talk to people that aren't excited or don't get excited about space, you know, not in like the nerdy, hey, you know, you want to come over and have like a Star Trek marathon at my house, you know, it's like, I'm not, I don't mean in that context. Like, I would totally do that, but I'm not saying that that's for everybody, right? What I mean is, like, when you don't get excited about where you live, it's just, I never understand it, because this is the universe is not just like this thing, this foreign thing that we can't experience. Like, we are literally experiencing every day. We're just expanding our perspective and, like, kind of the horizon of understanding of the place we live. And that's what astronomy, that's the whole point, that's the function of it, is to expand our understanding of our home, right? It's like an extension of geography. Like, we have to understand where we are and look as far away from ourselves as we possibly can to understand even the most, you know, foundational questions about what we are, or even when we are, right? Like, all those things come from this understanding and looking away from ourselves instead of just staying on Earth and measuring everything right next to us at all times. I think this is the entire point. It's like getting back to using science to get back to the most important questions, which in my opinion are the philosophical questions, the why questions, right? And I think that's what astronomy does best.
It's very, very well said. Especially the why, and you said, like, when too, like, when on the grand scheme of, like, the universe, like, we're very young. Like, there could be theoretically, there could be civilizations out there billions of years older than us.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, scary young.
Yeah, like, I like the analogy that Neil deGrasse Tyson uses for how long humans have been on the Earth, and you use a clock, right? And you have the 12 hours on the clock, and we are literally, like, just a second before midnight when everything else before us has existed for this massive amount of time, and we're just like one tick on the clock.
And that's not even a day, that's a calendar year that we're the last second, right? It's really, really scary when you think about it. And, you know, it's fragile, to say the least, right? I mean, space is a scary place, and the universe is big. I mean, unfathomably large. Every time I take a picture, I look at those pictures, and even in the background, have you ever just scanned your images and, you know, just forget about the target you were actually shooting for a second, but you just scanned your images and look at the background, the things you didn't mean to capture that you did, and you notice you have like 75 galaxies that you didn't even mean to take a picture of in one picture?
Yeah, I remember the first time I really noticed something, and this might be something that you've seen inside of, I believe it's just on the outskirts of the Heart Nebula. It's what looks like, I don't exactly know what it is, but I didn't notice it the first time. I was processing the data, and I just started seeing this little blue halo coming up. And it's essentially the same thing of what our star is going to do when it goes into a white dwarf. It sheds its outer layers, and you get this beautiful, like, ring that's with a star right at the center. And I mean, it's just like, and then you start thinking about, well, there's millions of galaxies behind this, and it's insane. Actually, have you seen that in the Heart Nebula?
No. Do you have a picture? Show me what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've got it. I don't know if it's new. I haven't been able to locate what the hell it is. I literally just...
Maybe you discovered something.
Maybe. When I was processing the data, it's only in the HA data that you can see it.
We're about to discover something right now, together here.
Let me see here. Finished. I think it's in this one. I don't know where my newest edit is, but you can definitely see it in this one. It should pop up. So let's get this all nice and big. You can see it a little bit. Let me reset the transformation here. So right there, see it? That little blue ring with the star in the center?
Oh,
So it's...
No. Is that in all of your images?
Yep, in all of my HA data. And it came out when I didn't notice it until I started really processing it. So let me... I've got an arrow here so people can see it just in case it's... Whoops. I broke everything. What happened? Control Z? There we go.
Did you break
image. Out here just removing Dustin from the stream. I swear to God, I've seen it. I've seen something weird when imaging. Have you been there we go. There's a nice little red circle. I have no idea what it is. I haven't been able to locate it anywhere to tell me what it is. We did I tried to do, you know, when like those surveys that'll show you everything that's in the sky and everything. It wasn't on there either.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never seen it before. So have you had it across multiple nights?
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can pull up the HA data for it. I think I still got the HA data saved. This was from last year. I haven't photographed it this year to see if it's still there. Photography.
Yeah, that's wild. I've never seen it. I mean, it looks like something that belongs in space. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah. Love that picture. So beautiful. I did a re-edit of it this year. Tag needs hair so he can look like that dude from the meme Aliens. Oh yeah. Wait. My Aliens wig. I don't got it. Aliens, man. I swear to God, I've seen aliens though, or something that can't be within our solar system. It couldn't have been a meteor, because meteors, you know, they fly in straight lines. It couldn't have been anything within our atmosphere because it wouldn't have been in focus. But this thing, it was going. So I was, you know, how you blink your images because we're all paranoid, or you just look for bad images or something like that. A lot of people look for asteroids by blinking through their images. Well, I had this thing going across. It was only 3 frames. It was going across, and then it stopped, and then you could see it do like a turn in the photo. So it was going straight through, stopped, and then just did like a U-turn, and then was gone. It wasn't on any more frames.
Yeah, that's a problem for sure.
I put it on Twitter. I was like, what the hell is this? I just found aliens. Confirmed. Amateur astronomer.
And everybody's like, don't talk about that.
Yeah, freaking get locked. If I ever disappear, freaking government locked me away somewhere.
Yeah, you know, Tony and I, we are. So Tony is the other host on a podcast they do called Space Junk Podcast, and he's one of the smartest guys I know, but he just firmly believes that there's no other life in the universe. And I just can't see it. You know, we argue about it all the time because I just can't see it. I think there's not only life in the universe, I think it's mathematically impossible that it's not just everywhere. And I think that right now people are thinking that, you know, it's like, well, if there's life out there, then, you know, how have we not detected it yet? And, you know, the Fermi paradox and all this other stuff. But it's like, I think that we're giving ourselves way too much credit.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean,
go ahead.
A couple of years ago, we didn't even believe in black holes. And now we're just... Sorry, what were you saying?
And that's the thing is for people that love science, and that's what I asked Tony, I'm like, for people that love science, the one lesson you should learn in just even reading, like, any science history at all, it's like, well, the people that say no, this isn't possible, generally that doesn't work out well for them.
Yeah.
Science loves to come back and say, oh yeah, the universe is much stranger than you thought it was.
And I think to make any kind of like scientific discovery, you have to believe in the impossible, because if you're denying the impossible, you'll never, like, especially with the way we think about like physics and things like right now. Like a lot of the new discoveries are being discovered by people that don't have a firm understanding of past physics because they're not thinking in those boundaries anymore. And
Yeah, for sure, man. And I don't know. I don't think like I think that the universe is going to be more like a Douglas Adams novel than it is anything that science currently thinks it is. And also, I don't think that things are going to be as bad as everybody thinks they are. Like everybody thinks we're going to destroy everything, we're going to kill off each other, and everything's going to end in a lot of explosions and terrible everything. I don't know, man. I just maybe I'm just like overly optimistic or unyieldingly so, but I just think that I don't know. Humans have a way of just doing good through the end of things, and I think that we'll be able to sort out these problems. I mean, that's one thing that humans are really damn good at is like problem solving. Finding the biggest problems and tackling them. Look at what's happening now. Like, look at what's happening in space now. It's like we're making exponential leaps on a daily basis, shooting people into space for fun, right? When it's like, this stuff wasn't possible. It was never possible, and people just find a way. And I think that we'll continue to solve the problems. And if we want to do something, I think we'll do it. Really do. And I love the pushes from people like Elon. I know a lot of people hate on him, but I love it. Like, get out there and be an explorer.
I mean, at this point, it's going to take the private sector, to do that kind of stuff. I know I know people hate on Elon, but he's making big strides.
People hate that guy, man. People hate him. I don't understand the hate. I really don't. Like, I really
there's a lot of baggage there.
I can't even start to know where it comes from.
Yeah, it's
like I hate that guy that gave us like electric vehicles and is pushing
electric roofs, but you can't get the electric roof.
What's that?
I said also the electric roof. Unfortunately, you can't get it, but I think in the long term that's going to be a game changer if every new house gets those solar panels on those roofs, because it's the same price, but then slowly over time that's going to have a big impact. Also,
people get pissed off because he's like, we have to move away from fossil fuels. It's like, is this really a point of contention for people? Is this what we're getting hung up on?
It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, that's what we're going to argue about, whether or not oil and the use of it in mass quantities that aren't sustainable are good for the world. I guess it's just not an argument I know how to participate in.
Yeah, that's when you just walk away. It's like the same people that think the Earth is flat. Just like, go.
Yeah.
Two things.
Doesn't NASA pay you not to tell people that the Earth is flat? That's the.
Oh yeah, no. I mean that's how I got my car, was from the NASA bucks.
Yeah. I figured that was the case. I get those DMs on a daily basis. People just absolutely. I've gotten death threats over it. It's so ridiculous that I'm hiding it from people.
I never knew that kind of level of stuff was happening. Jesus.
Yeah, like, oh, you've made your life mission to hide this for NASA, and they're paying you to not tell people the Earth is flat. I'm like, listen, you're right. You're right, and I don't want to give up the paycheck, so please don't tell anyone. They're like, I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
That is the best. So this that I have up there is actually one frame of the HA data, and you can see the little halo in there.
Zoom in on that.
Zoom in. Oh, what are we, in one of those movies where you gotta zoom in and make the pixels all nice and clear?
I just want to see if it's something that you have, a big mud stain on your filter or something, or if it's.
No, I mean, this was over the course of like a month where I would go back to it and it would be there. It's not in any other photos. I mean, it's just one frame, but I mean, this is this starless? Yeah, this is a starless image. So you can see where the star was removed though. It was right there.
It's really strange though that the signal would be that strong.
Well, if it is in fact a star that was going into the white dwarf phase when it sheds its outer layer, that's all HA. That's all hydrogen.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like it would be, an aberration from the optical train or, a dust speck. It's not the right shape for that. So it looks like it is actual signal. That's what I'm saying. It has to be some kind of signal.
Yeah, it's there's something there. I found something. Somebody
Yeah,
probably knows what it is. But
have you submitted it anywhere and just asked?
I probably should. I mean, there's a whole community of people that do that kind of stuff. A wild lurker appears for Astro Fun. Felicia, welcome. And thank you for the 14 months. Hell yeah, Felicia. We're, sky's cleared up too, by the way. Also, Taylor, thank you for becoming a member again. Welcome back. And Zed, thank you again for the super chat. Bring on the gorgeous nebula hype. Hell yeah. Thank you, Zed. I found aliens, man. I'm going to be famous.
So what are your thoughts on aliens? You think that aliens exist?
I think it would be a very depressing thought if out of the unmeasurable size of the universe that we were the only intelligent life. Even eliminating the thought of intelligent life, if we are the only like multi-celled organism in the entire universe, or even single-cell organisms, it would be a very depressing thought.
Right. It's just not possible, man. The numbers are just too big. It would be the greatest improbability, ever that we've ever encountered. I just can't imagine. When you're looking at, like we were just talking about, you take a picture and you accidentally get 75 or 100 galaxies in the background in a single image that's like holding a straw out at arm's length and looking through it, and that's how much space you're taking a picture of, and that's 75, 80 galaxies, and each one with 100 billion stars in them, each one of those with 1.6 planets on average. It's not possible.
Yeah, it's I mean, I hope there's life out there. I don't know, but I mean, it's very odd to think that, if you believe in the evolution theory, there's no reason to think that it can't happen somewhere else,
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we had 9 chances with our star because Pluto's a planet. I don't care what anybody says.
Thank you.
We had 9 chances.
Make Pluto great again.
Yeah. And it only took us 9 to get one that had life, I think it's not possible. It's not out there. But Pluto's definitely a planet. More importantly, and probably the most important thing said tonight, is that Pluto is a planet.
Yes, I think that's going to be my next merch. I mean, I've got the big fan of space, both outer and personal. The next one is going to be Pluto's a planet. Prove me wrong. No, that wouldn't be right, because then you could just take... Who is the big, famous... Is that Neil deGrasse Tyson who hates on Pluto?
Yeah, man. He was part of the thing that made it not a planet. And when we did that live thing with him, with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and when we were in the, we had to go into the room first before it went live, and it was the very first thing I asked him. I was like, you messed up, right? Like,
you've done wrong.
you know what you did. But he's committed to the idea.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah,
we all make mistakes.
I didn't know. I thought Neil deGrasse Tyson for a while was Team Pluto, and then somebody in chat the other day was like, "No, I hate him because he hates Pluto," and I was like, "Oh, I'm against Neil deGrasse Tyson now."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He is the death of Pluto.
Man, that's unfortunate. So we got some clear skies.
We don't need him to approve of Pluto being a planet.
That is true. And then there's all this hubbubaloo, it's a weird word, about this mysterious outer planet. Like, man, make Pluto great again before you go, giving planets names that we don't even know if they exist yet.
Yeah. It's not fair to the entire solar system. It's offensive.
I mean, that was their friends, Just ripped away from his friend group like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Pluto's got feelings too, man. Is Andromeda up yet? I'm trying to figure out. I've got some clear sky.
Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia. It should be up.
Just look out your window, find Cassiopeia, and the top 3 stars point directly at it.
I have become very proud of my ability to look at the sky and actually know where stuff is now. I think that's probably one of my favorite things about this whole astronomy thing that I've gotten into is that I can look up at the sky and have a much greater appreciation for what's around me. Because, I mean, we talked about this before where, you know, for the longest time, you know, I was in cities. I could see 4 stars when I look up. And I didn't, until this year, I never truly saw what our skies look like. I never had a true appreciation for it until this year.
You mean when you took the trip out west?
Yeah, and driving through the desert. I mean, me and Ashley, I was sleeping and Ashley was driving through the middle of the freaking desert, literally like right on the Mexican border as we're trying to get through Texas, because you know that drives forever. And I woke up and I had the skylight window open. I was like, wait a second, because just for the first time I was like, can we pull over? We pulled over on the side of the road, and it felt like I was drowning in stars. That was the photo that I took of her on the car hood with just the Milky Way just coming up out of the horizon. And like, I can only imagine, like, at one point in time, that is all the human race had to look at night, because you couldn't see anything. We didn't have like lights or anything. Right. And you would walk outside and you would look up, and it's easy to understand like how all of these religions were formed, and like how, like, you know, worshiping all the stuff in the sky. And it's just,
yeah, I'm not a religious person, but I can say that's as close to a religious experience as I've ever had, is getting under skies where the Milky Way is so bright. And I know you experienced this. The Milky Way itself, when the moon is completely gone, new moon, the Milky Way is so bright that it casts your shadow on the ground behind you. And it's unbelievable. It looks impossible. There's no space between the stars when you look up. It's just a wall of stars. And it's moving, man. I tell people all the time, it's life-changing. I told you that before you left for that trip. I'm like, it's going to be life-changing. And it absolutely is, man. Like, it's not an exaggeration. You get out to dark skies for the first time, if you've never seen it before, and you realize what people, you know, change their entire life paths, or the course of the direction of their life. I mean, I did it. I went to school for 11 years to not be in astronomy. You know, looked through a telescope once, and I'm like, well, could have saved a lot of money on that education and just bought a telescope.
I caught the bug again for astronomy when I visited you this last week, because Charles brought out that thing. That was the first time I visually ever saw Saturn's rings. And he just had this telescope, for those of you that missed it earlier. He literally just puts it on the ground, plugs it in, and then he's just standing back and just clicking things on his phone, and this thing locates exactly where it is in the sky. And then the next thing I know, we're looking at the rings and all of the planets orbiting Saturn. And we are... we looked at Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, which Pluto looking real small. Or Uranus is what we looked at. Yeah, Uranus was looking pretty nice that night.
I don't think we did.
we looked at it. It was just like a little pin, though, because that's looking pretty far.
Yeah, that was Neptune.
No, we looked at Uranus too. Because that's where all the Uranus jokes came from that night.
Maybe you and Charles did.
Maybe it was just me and Charles looking at it. Yeah, I think it might have just been us.
I didn't participate.
Yeah, because I remember Neptune, because we could see the blue hue of it. But I think it was just me. Your dad was outside with us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing watching people look at the rings of Saturn for the first time. You know, just everybody's reaction. It's always the same. This is a PG show, so I won't say what they said. But
you could say it. It's a late night stream.
Okay. Yeah, but you know, it's everybody's just so, it looks impossible. Everybody looks at the front of the telescope to see if there's a sticker on there. They think you're tricking them, and you know, it's like it's hard to imagine that it's real. I get why they feel that way. The first time I saw it was the same thing, but after looking through the telescope, I completely changed the direction that I was going with my entire life. And I'd already built a business in the fitness industry, and I left everything behind and went a completely different direction. And so glad I did, man, because there's no hobby, or even honestly, I'll say like philosophy in the world that I think gives you as much as astronomy does.
No, I mean, from the second, because I've told you how I fell in love with astronomy, right? From like basically just what introduced it to me was Trevor Jones from Astro Backyard, just watching.
That's so awesome, man. Have you told
Yeah.
him that?
I
He'd
have.
probably
I've
really
never
appreciate
actually.
that.
I've never actually gotten to have a like full-blown conversation with him, except for the one time that we talked on the phone for a little bit. But that was
Yeah. Well,
mainly
we'll
just.
we'll all be hanging out soon, right?
Yeah.
So, he's an awesome guy, man. But I bet he would really appreciate that. He loves this stuff. He's as obsessed with it as we are, if not more. Hearing you say that, I think he'd probably be moved by that.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I definitely want to meet him. We got a question from Baba Yaga. Also, thank you for the 13 months. Question for you both. Speaking of aliens and the unknown, any unexplained things happen seen while stargazing? What about for you? I've shared my unknown.
A lot of things, and I'm skeptical about everything. So I see stuff and I always try to explain it away. Oh well, there must have been a bug, but then it's like, well, this scope is focused to infinity right now, so it couldn't have been that. But you see things change direction. It's exactly what you described, and that's the part that for me is really challenging. Unless it's just, what I would try to do is I was in New Mexico, in some of the darkest skies in the country. I was at that place where I don't know if you know. I forgot the name of it. It's a park, I don't know if it's a national park or just a state park or what, but they have a park there where there are some preserved dinosaur footprints, like tracks.
Oh yeah, and Ashley's told me about that place. I don't know the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
It's unbelievable, man. One of my favorite places I've ever visited. But it's really, really dark too. And so I was doing some imaging there, and I'm in the middle of a sub, and I was using a really fast telescope, which helps because if you're doing long exposures, you don't really see this stuff, But I was doing really fast exposures and actually keeping the images. And so I look at these images and something's going across my image and then just completely changes direction and is going like 90-degree turn, is going the other way. I'm like, unless this is an asteroid and two asteroids just collided and one of them was not big enough to be visible, but somehow big enough to change the direction of the other. Like this defies physics. I don't understand what just happened, but something happened and it's in my image and I caught it on camera. So like that kind of stuff happens, and it happens, I won't say regularly, but it happens from time to time.
Yeah, it's kind of inexplainable, but then also you have to kind of take into consideration like oh, my computer's having a freaking stroke because of clouds. Man, these clouds, they're ruining it. I was getting ready right now to just blow everybody's mind looking at the core of Andromeda. And then a cloud rolled in and frickin' spoiled it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
The universe is a shy creature, man. It doesn't like its picture taken. It's going to do everything it can to prevent that.
Could this computer stop screaming at me though? That'd be fantastic. Do you know how to get no, it's fine. Man.
Is it a Windows computer?
No, so you know how PDH-2 gets pissed off when there's clouds and it starts bleeping at you because it lost track of the star?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's doing. It's just real mad.
It does get pretty upset.
Yeah. It's like, oh, snap. And it just blinks red and just screams at you. Poor Everly, because so my computer's up here now. So I have like this loft area in the house, and then down the hallway is Everly's room, and she sleeps with the door open because she wants the hallway light on because, darkness is scary.
Right, of course.
So for the whole entire time I've been doing astrophotography, my computer's been down in the basement. So if I'm going and doing something and the clouds roll in, my computer starts screaming, and she's like, Dad, your freaking computer's screaming again. I can't sleep because it's just this loud blong going through the house.
Yeah, and it won't stop either. It'll do it for hours.
She's like, I can't get it to stop. Yeah, and it doesn't stop.
Yeah, it never stops. It's not like it'll just recognize, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 3 hours now. We should probably stop. It just keeps going.
Yeah, you think it'd just, I wish it would just shut itself off because it's just going to keep letting the telescope move and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
So I got to figure out how, I'm photographing this in HA. I need to change filters. I'm like, I can't see anything. So I'm trying to duplicate what I've seen Econ Greg do for these live views, and I've never attempted to do a live view of a galaxy before, But I do know that I can't do a Galaxy in HA. So, but have you messed with SharpCap, trying to like live edit in SharpCap?
I've seen people be pretty successful with it, but I've never used SharpCap. I try to stick with the Mac. I don't think there is SharpCap on the Mac. Maybe there is.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if there is or not. That might be.
I've done most of my imaging at home on a Mac. I just prefer a Mac anytime I can use to Windows. I struggle with Windows.
I don't. Yeah, we got to give you like a crash course one of these, but we're not gonna see anything right now because it's stupid.
I feel like Windows computers for me are like one-time use. You know, I use it, it doesn't update, breaks itself, and then I boot it out the window.
Yeah, you got to turn it. So for the longest time, you could just turn off auto updates, but not anymore. Windows likes to shove those updates down your throat and tries to turn on all the tracking stuff on it. That is the one good thing I got to say about Mac, is you don't have to deal with that BS.
Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't had a lot of luck. My observatories are constant. I use Windows in all of my observatories, but they're constantly updating themselves into oblivion. So,
yeah, we got to get down there and we got to do our trip that we've been talking about for a year, and we got to do that stuff to get those up.
Well, it's finally like the world is finally getting to a place that it's even becoming possible again.
Yeah, that is a good point. Dustin, do you run SkyX? Matt Aggie is asking what you use for your software.
I do. I use SkyX in one of my observatories. I like it. It's cool. I've got an ME2 in there, and so, you know, it obviously works best with the software that comes native for it. But SkyX is an incredible program. I think the Bisk brothers they've contributed a lot to the industry, a ton. And SkyX is one of those things that's become, you know, one of the gold standards in the industry for, we put in a lot of universities and SSA companies, space situational awareness companies, things like that. And a lot of those companies use it, but it's a pretty complete program.
Yeah, I think that, I done exploded that. I'm trying to mess around with the game. I think I'm going to leave the game at 100. I think SkyX was the one that you were trying to get me into, and I just haven't done it yet. We got to get Greg in here and tell me how to
There's a free program that I really like a lot called Ecos and K-Stars. Those are pretty amazing. I feel like those, as those get developed, because they're open source, I think as those get developed, they'll be really complete programs.
What was that last one you said? K-Source? Or what was that?
K-Stars.
K-Stars. I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it's free. Maybe if it's not free, it's like $20 or something.
Oh, there we go. I'm figuring it out.
Oh man, I just started looking at the chat at the right time.
Oh, what happened? Oh my god.
You have the best crew here always.
Every
time I come into one of your streams, I just like the chat is always so entertaining. You have the best crew, man.
I think they're terrifying sometimes. Y'all are the best.
They're so funny. They are the best.
So
that time I popped into your stream, you know, I didn't know what. I just like to jump in every now and then and just see how you're doing, see what you're up to. You're always doing cool stuff, and I was like, you know, I've got 5 minutes here in between meetings, and I'm gonna jump in and see what you're doing. I come in and you're wearing a Bob Ross wig and painting. And I just, and the chat is going nuts, and I'm just like, how does this happen? Like, you have the best life in the world.
It's man, have you seen my most recent Bob Ross image? Hold on, wait for this. Hold on, I'm a freaking artist.
Are you? Yeah. It was amazing. I didn't know. I was like, am I at the right place? What is this?
Are you ready for this? Are you prepared?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, come on. You'd pay like $1 billion for this, right?
Ross, nice.
This is $100 million painting right here.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I freaking did this.
You didn't do that.
I did. I live streamed it.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
Don't bullshit me, man. You didn't do that.
I have witnesses. There's like 300 witnesses here.
Somebody sent you that. I know people send you stuff. No, you did not do that.
Looks so good dried down. Yeah, it is finally dry.
You can barely write your name. You did not.
I mean,
do
you're
that.
not wrong, but I can frickin' sling a paint spatula thing.
No, you did.
Now it's actually really fun when you get into it. It's kind of like relaxing. Well, let me rephrase that. It's extremely aggravating and then a little relaxing once you.
You
figure
really
it out.
did that.
I did it. Yeah, I did this.
Have you been painting a long time?
No, I literally the first time was the time you popped into the stream. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was probably having a fit too.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, that's amazing. That is not at all what I expected.
I mean, none of the other ones are that good, but I mean, it's Bob Ross. He's a magician, and I'll tell you what. Look at that nice cloud right there. That nice gray cloud. As I was finally trying to pull detail out of the frickin' galaxy. I'm sorry, everybody. It was supposed to be a clear. Look at this. When are we gonna get the Radian cloud control software? Like just cloud control, just a giant something. There's got to be a way.
Man, I'm trying.
Weather control system. Look at this. Frickin' clear skies. That's supposed to be the whole night. I mean, there's that big cloud down there, but I'm not near it. But it is here. Oh, there we go.
Well, that's why. Look, I've got that observatory in Texas that we keep talking about. We're not using it. Hey, there's Andromeda.
Yeah.
It looks like at least the core.
Yeah, so we got the Radian 12.5 pointed at Andromeda. So once this cloud leaves and I get 30 seconds, it's going to be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. No big deal. Just looking 2 million years into the past right there.
Yeah, it's, oh God, there's the cloud again.
It's what? Cloud?
There's just one cloud out there like, hey, screw you, man.
Just going back and forth.
It's like, oh, not today.
Doing exactly what we were talking about, just changing direction over and over.
Yeah, some aliens out there like, screw this dude. Look at that telescope down there in San Antonio. Let's fuck with him tonight.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we got to get one of your systems in that observatory, man. That's where I was going with that. We got to get one of your systems in there so that if you do have clouds where you are, you're not going to have clouds in both places.
Yeah, that's awfully kind offer of you too, and I think it's about time we probably do that. And then what we can do is we can do the freaking binoculars with the plane wave that I wanted to do.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I haven't. This is what I want to do. I want to get the L series, the L350, right? The L350 has a 120-pound weight capacity, right? Something like that.
The L350 I think is 100, but I don't
100?
know. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 100. It can mount on both sides.
Yeah, exactly. So what I want to do is I want to take two PlaneWave 12.5s and set them up on either side and have 12.5 binoculars, and just collect data nonstop.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But you saw their new scope, right? Are you going to get one of those, the F3 scope?
I want it.
Yeah.
Because
you'd be able to get, because yours is F7, right, or something like that.
It's F8. Yeah, that's how we get the
F8.
same focal length as the 14.
So from 4, then you would go 5.6 to F8. So it's what? That's double 4. So right at 6 times faster than what you have.
Yeah, it's but the focal length is what? Just under 1,000, right? Or is it at 1,000? Because it's still a 14-inch scope, so that would be right at about 1,000, right?
It's right at about 1,000. Yeah, man, that thing is amazing. Like, I'm definitely gonna have to put one in one of the observatories because PlaneWave just does a great job with their scopes in general. I mean, the 17 I have out in California. I love that thing, man. It's what most of my images have been taken with. I love it, but they're a solid company. They do a really good job, and that scope. Plus it came from Dave Rowe, who, also designed the Rasa and the CDK in general, and just an amazing human, awesome guy.
I should have known that because of the name of the scope, but I didn't make the connection until you just said it.
Well, they spelled it differently. They spelled it like the nebula.
Okay. Maybe that's why I didn't connect it. Hey, Jatina, what's going on? Asmo, Bella. So this is what we're trying to photograph, which is the Andromeda. But no, that thing looks absolutely disgusting. What is it officially released? I know you're taking pre-orders right now.
I don't know, man. You ask me all these questions. I'm supposed to know. I don't know. I know that we just started taking pre-orders, so I think they're going to start shipping in like roughly a month, but that could be wrong.
Are you allowed? So I know that PlaneWave takes, because they make incredible, like the highest precision that you can get as probably a consumer. Am I not mistaken on that?
Yeah, they make professional scopes too. So a lot of the stuff we send to like NASA and JPL, it's their scopes. We sell a lot of their scopes to them too.
I think you were telling me at one point in time. So the scope we're talking about right now, I'll bring it up because this is something that I like looking at scopes, because your website likes to send me ads on every time I open up. My basically every time I open up Google Chrome, it's a telescope that I want to buy sitting there. So this is the one you're talking about, right? The 14-inch Delta Rho.
That's it.
Yeah, this thing it's beautiful. They make such high precision stuff. I remember one time you were telling me that basically if you like sized up their mirrors for like a mile, there wouldn't be like a defect on it, like an inch wide or something like that, like something kind of ridiculous metric for how
they're
perfect their mirrors are.
They're perfect instruments, and a lot of scopes anymore have really, really high quality optics like that, glass. But PlaneWave just does a really good job all the way around. They think about things like flexure and issues, and making sure that the systems are perfect not only before they're mounted, but also after the mirrors are mounted, so that the scope performs like it's supposed to. But yeah, man, just really, really high-end stuff. But that's also why it's the price that it is. It's it's a professional instrument. It's not something that's really meant to be in the backyard, except for people that just are as obsessed with it all as we are.
This is what I want. Yeah, the L350 right here. So it's 100 pounds. You might be able to binocular the.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
you could. It and that mount is it's direct drive, so it's not using gears. It doesn't have backlash or periodic error. Thing's amazing, man. A little bit scary though how fast it slews. The thing would knock you out if you were close to it.
Yeah, I saw a video on that thing and it was cruising straight, just absolutely. What did I do? I got something over my face and I don't know where it's coming from. There it is.
Looks like you have part of my website.
Yeah, I just got it up on the side there.
Yeah, that's funny.
And they're making a bigger version of that too, right? So they're making a 24-inch.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard rumors, but I think that anytime something cool comes out, everybody always comes out and says like, "Oh yeah, there's going to be like a 90-inch."
So, Jennifer's asking, "Is there a friendly budget telescope for someone new?" So, it really, Dustin would definitely be able to comment on this, but like photography in general, as a whole, is pretty expensive. Like a good camera lens can run you like $1,500 to $2,000 or more. But the Radian 61, if you want something that you can use pretty much forever, I think is probably right here. This is $1,000, and this will get you to photograph pretty much anything in the sky that you want to, for getting started, until you have to spend quite a bit more money, I think. But I think there's
photography. Yeah, that's the answer for photography getting started. If it's just for visual though, you don't need that much. You don't need to go out and spend $1,000. Actually, we just put kits together for this exact reason, because a lot of people are like, "Well, I don't want to do photography. I don't need a mount. I don't need gears. I don't want to carry out a computer. I don't want to get in on that level. I just want to like show my family the rings of Saturn." We just put a kit together. I think they're going live actually this week on the website. But those are under $200.
Oh,
And
really?
it's like everything. Yeah, it's everything you need, including like a laser pointer to point out things in the sky and the whole thing. But yeah, we put these kits together for the holiday season because so many people have that question. They're like, well, there's both paths. It's like I want to do photography or I just want to show the family things, and you can get away with a lot less if you're not going to be doing photography. Photography is very demanding. If you're not going to be doing that, you don't have to spend the extra money. You can, and you can get great equipment, but you don't have to.
Yeah, that's I think that's really important because we've discussed this a lot, getting the price point, and just getting people to get into it. Because like what happened with me, like I still bought mid-range probably for my first purchase because my community was like go big or go home. But I mean, once you get into it, it's just such a rabbit hole of exploration, really. I mean, you're basically like you one at a certain point, like once you get into the observing, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I want to see farther, I want to see more, I want to photograph more, and I think just getting people into the visual aspect, and then maybe even just finding a way to like attach their camera that they have at home or phone, because you can do stuff with your phone now, which is something I've been wanting to record a video on too. Send a link, please, for
Oh, for the kits?
for the kit.
So yeah, I don't have the link actually right now. I think it goes live on Monday, which is tomorrow. I can't believe it's already Monday.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to go live tomorrow, but what I can do is give you the link after the fact, and you can share it here, and then maybe we'll do like a giveaway or something on here of one of those kits for the season, right?
Yeah, that'd be fun because I got the
Yeah,
the charity event that I do every year coming up in November too. We can do a giveaway for that. That'd be fun.
definitely. That's such an awesome event, man. I'm stoked you're doing that. That's really amazing of you to do.
I look forward to it every single year. I actually got a letter from the hospital this year. So there was a baby born just after we had run the event, and the baby needed heart surgery to be able to survive. And the money that we raised not only helped pay for the first heart surgery, but the following up one. So they sent images. Basically, our community saved a child's life, like outright. Without our community, that child would have not survived. I was able to have 2 heart surgeries, and then the third one is coming up just as like just to make doubly safe that their heart's going to be good for the rest of their life. And,
I mean, how do you feel about that, knowing that what you and the team here did just saved a child's life? I mean, what can you do bigger than that? Right? Like, that is amazing.
It really is. Like, it's just like I've been just like, since I got that email, I've just been like kind of like on cloud 9, because like, I mean, like most times when you donate to any kind of charity, that money just kind of goes out into the ether. You don't know where it goes, and oftentimes for a lot of charities, when bad things are happening, it goes into somebody's pocket and doesn't actually help anybody. But with this, we actually get to see where that money goes and saving a life. And like I can't think of anything better to do with the community that we've built here than to try and help out as much as we can, and trying to do more and more as we grow. And it's just amazing. Like most of the charities that we do is for children. It's because they deserve it. They deserve that chance. A lot of these people have been able to help give those kids those chances.
Right. Yeah, and it's I mean, it can be a trap for people, especially on the medical side. That stuff adds up so quickly, and I'm sure that these people are not going into that situation with a lot of hope, and to have a community outside of that don't even know these people saving lives is just, it's unbelievable, man. I mean, kudos, hats off to everybody in the community that participates in that and does something worth doing. Very few people take the time or give the energy to make big things happen, but that's awesome. Tag, you're killing it, man. That's great.
Still nervous to call me Sean, right? No,
yeah, I just don't know. Like, I don't ever know what I'm supposed to,
I'm laughing because we had this conversation literally just before we started.
I'm just used to it from like the other, like especially the Twitch streams. Everybody just digs into me afterwards because they're always like, "Quit saying my name," and you're just like, "Yeah, man, I'm just Sean." So every time I call Sean, literally every time,
Oh no.
Uh, he answers the phone, and Sean to me is Jonathan. I'm not. I'm not sure how that happened. I don't even
Hey,
know
I
when
call you
that
Pumpkin
happened.
when I answer the phone. So,
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
that's how that.
So every time here, I have to think about it, and then I'm like, oh, tag, not Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. Do we know the secret? Yeah, most people know the name, but most people do refer to me to Tag on the streams. How did we meet? Was it in the military? No, we met through astrophotography. Like Jake was the one that introduced us. I think this is the first time when we talked, and then I don't know how it became more than just that one time we talked, but we kind of just hit it off. When you meet somebody that's like-minded, it's very rare, and you gotta pursue those kinds of things. It's really rare in life where you meet somebody that thinks, and can help not only think the same way as you, but help push you to think to bigger and better things as well. And those kinds of relationships are very, very rare.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the most important decisions we make in life. Is who we surround ourselves with, and people don't take it seriously. I had a philosophy instructor or professor, and he was telling the story about, and I know that you and I have said this a million times, so you're gonna be like, man, I've heard this story. But anyway, I think it's super relevant to what we're talking about, where you've got Socrates, who's like one of the most influential individuals ever to live, ever, right? Literally, the way he thought changed the way that everybody thought moving forward. And so he teaches a guy named Plato, and Plato takes this and he's like, damn, this is powerful stuff. And so passes it on to a guy named Aristotle. And then Aristotle is so influential that the richest man in the known world at the time comes up to him and says, I want you to tutor my son, because what you're doing here is important. I want my son to have the best. And that kid goes on to be Alexander the Great and takes over the known world, right? And it's like, you think about what really happened and the likelihood that it's just like, oh yeah, it was just these 4 just top tier amazing people that happened to be at the exact same place at the exact same time without the internet or anything else. It's like, no, it's just that, they recognized, like, surrounding yourself with those people and embracing these ideas from people that were offering something. Like they weren't. And even if you read like the dialogues of Plato, the people that Plato and Socrates were surrounded with were people just like themselves, And I think that it's important. Like, it's such an important decision, and it's something that most people don't put a ton of thought into.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like I'm not exactly sure how to word this, but the people that you surround yourself are definitely a reflection on not only yourself but the potential that you can have later on too. And I've always tried to surround myself with people that are gonna help. Like, it's nice to have those friends that are like, will tell you that you're doing everything perfectly or something like that. But it's much more important to me to have that friend that's gonna be like, hey, you're screwing up, or you could do this or you could do that, and just try and help, not only be there for you when you need it, but to push you to be bigger and better than what you could be, whether or not you like the feedback.
Yeah.
But it's like those kinds of things are healthy.
Yeah, you have to constantly be asking yourself that question, right? Like, where will I be when I get where I'm going? And people don't, like, I can't say people. So many people do, and those are the people that I think are inspiring, and the people that books are written about. But it's an important question, and that's why I carry that coin around with me. I have that heavy coin in my wallet. I have this gold coin, and it just says Memento Mori, and it sounds really dark, but literally translate to remember death. But I think, like, that's the foundation. We know this piece is coming, right? Not in a scary, dark way. We know that, like, this piece is fixed on a long enough timeline. The survival rate for everyone drops to 0, or at least that's the quote from Polinick. And it's like, well, we know that's true, so then it's really pretty fucking important we decide what we're going to do with that remaining time, right? And make it worth something. And I think, like, making sure that the people have a similar mindset and want to push things forward and help people and be like a force for good, I think is important.
Absolutely. So just for a quick change of subject, I'm trying to hone us in on the Pac-Man Nebula right now, because it's actually one of my favorites, I think. I don't know why I like it so much. It's just a really cool area of space. And I think we should have a good image of it here in a second. Maybe. Maybe. If the clouds hold off, we might be okay.
Yeah, this is going to be the one.
This is going to happen. We just got to cross our fingers for a whopping 6 more seconds, and maybe something will pop on the screen.
Single sub A-pod coming up.
Single sub. Well, that's awfully dark. Let me see if I can stretch this bad boy. Is there like what does this do? Auto stretch? That's not doing much. Oh, there's a little bit of something in there. I don't know how the hell does Greg do this? He is a freaking wizard with this.
He's just a super genius.
He really is. I don't know how he does it. I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen when he's doing it. And I'm trying to figure it out right now, but he does something in here to be able to process this like a... We got a little bit in there. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of a longer... 30 seconds is a little low for a HA sub.
Yeah.
Matt is asking if you have a favorite deep sky object.
Favorite deep sky object. Probably the rosette.
Ooh.
I really like the rosette. I think for one thing, it's a stellar nursery, which is pretty amazing. I mean, you're witnessing the birth of new stars. But also it's just, you have a really good rosette, don't you? That you could pull up?
Yeah. Yep. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, pull that up so that anybody that doesn't know what the rosette is can see it. But I just think it's a beautiful target. It's one that's really fun if you're an astrophotographer to spend a lot of time on, to try to really push. But also, like, most of the best experiences I've had in astrophotography, or at least a lot of them, have come from images I took of the rosette.
Yeah, you have a lot of really great rosette images on your Instagram. Like, not only just the rosette, but like the core, like the stellar nursery, which is really cool. You don't see images that close of the rosette very often. Usually it's a lot more zoomed out. It's really cool.
I shoot it every year, man. I like that target. That one is probably my favorite.
Let me pull up my shot of the rosette. This is not a very good shot. I did the Rosette Nebula dirty. I looked at it once. I have really good data on it too. I really need to go back and reprocess this data.
Matt says he loves the Iris Nebula. That's a challenging target.
Mm-hmm.
It's an awesome nebula. I love all the dark lanes and everything in it, but that is such a challenging target to shoot, and you can't shoot it narrowband, which makes it even more difficult. But yeah, it is pretty awesome. I don't have any great shots of the Iris for sure.
Neither do I. It's been a target that I've been wanting to photograph. It's part of the reason why I ended up getting a color camera, was so I could do some of these. Well, one, galaxies, because I'm just horrible at editing galaxies. That's my shot of the Rosette from last year. Which,
yeah, there it is. There's just so much going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and
I love what Kurt Morgan did with this one too. He's like the most creative person walking Earth. But he saw that it resembled a skull, which it does. You can kind of see the two eyes there, the nose, and I mean, it really does. I wish I had a way to point it out on here, but it doesn't take too much you can use your imagination there, you can see it. But yeah, this is an amazing target.
It really is. I really like it in SHO or OHS has been my favorite color combination, because it's just so weird, and you can bring out a lot of those little extra details that I don't know what it is. It's just maybe it's just because I was sick of looking at blues and yellows and reds, but I don't know. I really like the color combination.
Yeah, I like it. The colors are just inverted, but it looks awesome.
My favorite target is this one. This has been the best image that I've taken so far. There's something about the elephant's trunk that I just really, really love. Orion might be my most hated / loved target. There's something about the elephant's trunk. I don't know what it is, just about having this massive. I mean, that's like
that might be your best image, man. That one is just incredible.
Yeah, I don't know what I did with the processing. I just had a night where, like, I can zoom in this for days, and there's just like the
camera
data.
Was that?
This was my first complete image with the ZWO 6200.
No, that's why the resolution's so insane.
Yeah, it's just there's so much data in there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I've got an image coming up here of Pac-Man here in a second. What's on my bucket list to capture? Do you have one? Something you've been wanting to but you haven't gotten to?
Man, I feel like I haven't. There are so many I haven't done or done well. I never got a good sunflower. I'd really like to get a good sombrero. I think that's one of the coolest galaxies, and I've never taken a good image of it. That one's probably my next, like, I've got to take a really good image of the sombrero.
That's southern hemisphere, right?
No, we can get it from the north.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even think I've looked at that.
Yeah, you can get it.
Sombrero Nebula. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is the Sombrero Galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's freaking cool. Grab a photo of that. Yeah, I didn't even know. When does this show up? Urbo Turbo Burbo, thank you for the sassy lime. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're looking at the sombrero right now? I can't see it.
I'm pulling up the image for
Oh, okay.
That's so cool because it's side on. You don't see that very much with galaxies. And look at this detail in here. You can look at all the other galaxies behind it.
Yeah.
You've got like two galaxies that are. Let me see if I can pull up my little arrow thing. Image. There's so much in here. This is my little education arrow that I use in my live streams. So down here you have two galaxies that are merging together, similar to the whirlpool. And everywhere you look at this point is a galaxy. Like there's some stars in the foreground, but can I grab this? Like galaxy, 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 galaxy. There's like 7 right in here. There's another one right here. There's about 30 just in this patch of sky.
Yeah, I think this will be the next one I'm going to put a lot of time into.
Yeah, no, that's... What focal length do you need for this thing?
It's I mean, obviously it's not small, but relatively. Our field of view is going to make it be small in the image. So, I mean, I'm at 3,100 millimeters of focal length. It's still probably not great, but I'm going to have to make it work.
That'll be awesome. There's our first shot of the Pac-Man.
Oh, nice. Wow, that's coming through. That's coming through really well. Is that stretched?
I mean, it's just like a soft stretch. I could probably push it more. If I could figure out which one of these. There we go.
You're figuring it out, man. Greg would be proud.
Greg has put me to shame doing this. Greg is a champion at this.
Yeah, he is. Greg is so funny to me, man. Like he's a PhD economist, / astrophotographer / professor / obsessed fisherman.
He does love to fish.
And whiskey connoisseur.
He was like,
he
calls me Tag. He calls me Tag, and when I was there the whole time. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
I was like, I'm standing right next to you.
He's funny, man. He's funny.
He's a good
Yeah,
day.
he stayed here for a couple weekends. I think he was back to back. Like he was here one weekend, and then maybe he left, and then it was like I don't know, maybe 2 weeks later he came back for another weekend. But I would wake up. It's like 6 in the morning. I look out on the pond, and he's out there in the boat, like just doing laps fishing. Like, he gets out there before the sun comes up, out there fishing. Just like, man,
Yeah, that's
you got to really love it to be getting up at 4:30 in the morning, going out there by yourself.
that is some commitment. They're asking what this is. This is the Pac-Man Nebula. This is basically a live view of the Pac-Man Nebula. I'm trying to do the shortest exposures that I can. This is a little over 7,300 light years away. So we are currently looking roughly 7,000 years into the past. You know, a little bit over that. We don't know the exact distance of it because on hand. I could Google it. Somebody can Google how far the Pac-Man Nebula is away.
Somebody can.
But I mean, just it's still like every time when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, this image is cool, but then you're literally capturing something that's traveled thousands of years to get to you.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man.
If that light particle could tell a story, like what could it have seen on its travel here? You know, what?
Well, I mean, time stopped for it, so probably not a lot.
Well,
there's
yeah.
that. Mama Burbo Turbolicious saying she'd like to see the sunflower galaxy.
Is that up right now? I might be able to pull it up because we can look at anything now. The clouds are gone. So if there's something that is up in our skies right now, we can pull it up and we can look at it. Is there something you want to see? Is there something you haven't seen in a while that you want to take a poke at real quick? Sunflower.
No, I just look like it was very important that she see that. There
Sunflowers.
were a lot of E's at the end of C.
Sunflower's below the horizon right now.
Is it?
Yeah. Mistakes have now been made. Space nerds. Well, if there is something y'all want to see in the sky, we can pull it up and we can look at it. It'll take... I'm doing a minute and a half exposures right now, so we can look at pretty much anything.
Guys kill me. It's so funny.
You haven't even got no whiskey tonight, man.
No.
This is the stuff that I wanted to get for your birthday while we were there, but they didn't have it. It's pretty good. If the Betelgeuse star goes supernova, how soon would we know it actually happened? Would we pick up signals before we can see it? So we would know that it was going to go supernova before it happened because it would start doing some wonky stuff that we'd be able to pick up. But by the time we got those signals, it would have already exploded, most likely. How far is that away?
You're asking me?
Oh, I'm pulling it up right now. How far Betelgeuse is?
Yeah, I was like, I haven't memorized all the stars distances.
Betelgeuse is 842.5 light years away. So by the time we were able to collect any kind of data that it was going to go supernova, we wouldn't see it for 825 years or 842 years after that. So the last bit of data that we would get from that would be a ghost because it wouldn't even exist anymore. Which is kind of crazy to think about.
There was a lot of talk last year when it dimmed so much that people thought it was going to, that was going to be the death of it. But apparently, and I didn't know this, apparently the stars have, or at least that star has that cycle of dimming. I had no idea, but it's definitely one of the easiest stars to spot in the sky, and it's so bright orange. And then it's completely, it's opposite in the Orion constellation of Rigel, which is bright blue. And so it's really easy to see those two. You have like this very young, ultra hot star in Rigel, and then the opposite corner, which would be the shoulder of Orion, this very, very old, fading, ready to go, cooling star of Betelgeuse.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually look at it next time because I never realized that it was actually in the Orion constellation. I never registered. I never was really fascinated with Betelgeuse until last year. Or was it last year that it was going through that cycle, or was it the year before?
I feel like after March of last year, everything just ran together for me.
Are you ready for a dad joke?
A dad joke?
Are you prepared?
I'm ready.
All right. Yesterday, I was charged $10,000 for sending my cat into space. It was a catastrophe.
Oh my god.
Catastrophe. Oh my god.
That's pretty good.
What is the difference between a star and a galaxy? Whoa. So, a star is just a singular body, whereas a galaxy is essentially there's a mass at the center, whether it be a black hole or a massive cluster of stars, which has a gravitational pull that essentially they're not all spiral galaxies, but a lot of them tend to be spiral galaxies or clusters. Basically, it's a massive cluster of stars, gases, and everything that is circling I'm trying to put this in the easiest terms possible, but circling a massive gravitational structure, whether it be a black hole or whatever it may be. We don't really know what could be at the center of a lot of these other galaxies too. You might know a little bit more on that as well than I do.
Nope. I think you nailed it.
Top of Orion, or what usually appears at the top of us. So Orion is coming up this time of year. I don't know if we can look at it yet. A lot of people have requested to look at things that is currently on the other side of the Earth. So I cannot look at a lot of those. Orion Nebula. Orion is in fact not visible for me yet.
It's up at night, but only right before sun up.
Yeah.
You'd have to stay up pretty late.
What are the different types of galaxies? I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, there are a lot. If I try to name them all, I'm not going to get it right. So this is where Google would be much better at this than I am to go through them all.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Ours, if it helps you, ours is a spiral galaxy. Yeah. Andromeda,
those are the best looking ones.
Yeah, they're the best looking ones. There are galaxies that have lost their black hole, which we don't exactly know how that happens, whether it didn't have one or collapsed or whatever you want to call it. And those just kind of start like spreading out into space because they've lost their tether essentially. I don't know what the name for those are, but they kind of look cool. There's a lot of those. But spiral is the most common.
Yeah, it's interesting though, just like the shape of things in space. It tells so much about it. And even when we were here, watching people look, we were just talking about this, but watching people look at Saturn for the first time, they see Saturn's rings, and it's always amazing the first time you see it, but then you step back and you're like, well, why would it be so flat? Because, Saturn's rings are really, I think it's still one of the flattest things known in the universe for the scale of it. And it's like 30 feet, and this is probably close. Maybe somebody can Google it, fact check me here. But I think it's something like 30 feet tall, so like 3 stories tall, but 180,000 miles wide. To put that in perspective, the United States is roughly 3,000 miles wide, which is roughly the same as the width of the moon. When you look at the face of the moon, it's roughly the size of, the United States' width. And so we're talking about 3,000 miles compared to something like 180,000 miles and only 30 feet tall. And it's really interesting that you can tell so much about something's shape or its movement by its shape. And it's like, well, if you think about it, it's the same thing as like, I was trying to explain it to this little class of young students. I was like, you see people spinning pizza dough, and you think about like this big ball of pizza dough, and what happens when they start spinning it is it flattens out, obviously, right? And it becomes a pizza. It's the same thing. You watch Saturn over the course of a night, and you can just see that Saturn and Jupiter are spinning super fast. And so the stuff around it starts to flatten out under its gravitational pull, and obviously centrifugal force and all of these types of things. But then you look at the ecliptic, which is like the line that all of the planets, the moon, even the sun, travel across the sky, and you see that all the planets are in a line, right? Like there's another great example. Jupiter's just whipping around. So a day on Jupiter is roughly 10 hours instead of 24. So it's spinning super, super fast. And so you can see that they're in a flat line as they spin around it. But even from our perspective, we can see the planets in a straight line, across the sky. And it's really interesting to think not only are these things happening across like the other little isolated islands, like a planet itself and its moons, but also the whole solar system. Same thing happening around the sun as all of this stuff whips around, and we can see that straight line across, the other planets as they're moving. And it's really interesting how that happens.
It really is interesting. But speaking of straight line, can you tell what this is right here?
Jupiter and Ganymede, Io.
Yep.
Europa.
Exactly.
And what's the other one?
So we've got Callisto would be the one at the very bottom here. Callisto is right down here. So we got Callisto, Ganymede, Europa, Jupiter, and Io right here.
Which one's Europa?
Europa is right here. This one. This little one. I'm going to see if I can get I only have a black and white camera. I'm trying to... I guess you don't need a lot of exposure time. I've never tried to photograph a planet before. This is my first time looking at one before. Oh, you can actually... Oh, really? Oh, shit. There we go. You can actually see the rings. It's not perfect. Can't see the planets anymore, but you can actually see the rings of Jupiter.
Yeah, look at those bands.
Let me put tracking on, because planets move actually kind of quickly through the sky. Might be able to get a little bit... Oh, Christ almighty. We got a cloud coming in the frame. Try and take another shot here in a second. We'll pop over to Saturn here real quick too. I think with my focal length, I should still be able to see the rings of Saturn. I think. Is it how are you doing on time? I know it's getting late for you. I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah, I'll probably need to dive out in the next 10 minutes or so.
Okay. I figured I'd point it out just to... I know you got to wake up. You got them early mornings.
Yeah,
I wake up about 4 hours later than you do.
Yeah, the mornings get started pretty early.
Brutal Elder, thank you so much for for becoming a member. Welcome. We took a look at the Crab Nebula. Crab is another winter one.
Bands and make her dance. Oh, that's perfect. That should be Jupiter's slogan.
Oh yeah, stupid clouds. They really ruined this, but I was super excited to do this tonight. But I'm still glad you came and joined us and hung out with us. Well, you know what? That cloud is actually helping me actually just get the rings. It's kind of weird how that's working out. That's super strange. I usually wake up around 5 to 6 a.m. Whew. Not me, man. If I move out there, you're going to make me wake up that early? You going to kill me?
Oh, man. It's, I have to do it to hit the gym early, or the day gets away from me and then I won't do it. So I get up, and tomorrow's a 5:30 gym day. So,
whew.
Do what you got to do, man.
It's crazy.
So the answer is yes.
Yes. Oh man. Well, I do need to get back in shape. I am a shape, but it is not the kind of shape you want to be in.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's like when you're so busy, you just go, and you forget. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to eat all day or do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna go to TwitchCon when it comes back around? I mean, I haven't even heard what's going on with it. Are you gonna go?
I don't think so. I've gone to some cons. Like, I started my first year doing anything like that was the year just before COVID hit, because me and Ashley, we went to E3 and I did like a YouTube event there, and I mean, imagine I could probably, I'll definitely do the YouTube event because I'm big enough to do that. Twitch, I don't even know if I'd be recognized by Twitch to really go. I mean, I could go, but it's not like I would probably do anything there because I only just started on Twitch. But I'd be interested in going just to kind of talk to other people and see what they're doing. And
yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's right by OPT, so you know.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
20 minutes down the road.
I know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't know if you're able to say anything on it. We'll talk later about it because I know you had that thing that you wanted that might. Yeah. Well, I'll call you tomorrow about it.
I don't even know what this is in reference to, but all right.
It's fine. Works. I remember. I got a steel vault up here. It doesn't remember everything, but it remembers some things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and see if we can get a shot of Saturn here real quick. I just had to do a full turn around the planet, so I don't even know if we're gonna be looking at Saturn right now, but we might. Oh shit, we are. Boom.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Well, okay. My first ever shot of Saturn. This is essentially I'll just loop this real quick. Man, I can't believe the entire time that I've been doing astrophotography, I have not one time, other than Uranus, pointed it at one of our planets.
And
there's the moons.
Why would it be that, like, why did you not take pictures of these planets, but you chose to?
I mean, some questions shouldn't be answered.
Okay. No, I hear you, man. I hear you.
It was because I made a joke video. I made a short. I was like, I want to try out this YouTube short. So my short video was titled "Taking a Deep Look at Uranus," and it was 20 seconds of me just making Uranus jokes while photographing the planet. It was a bad idea. But yeah, that was how that happened.
That sounds like a very good stream.
There may have been. It wasn't even a stream. It was just me sitting alone at night with a glass of whiskey, being like, This is a good idea.
Yeah.
This is a great idea.
I've got this punchline, but nothing else. Let's do a stream.
Yeah, I mean, that's been some of my streams on Twitch lately. It's.
Yeah, that's perfect though. That's what it should be.
No, it's
do a long exposure on Saturn here. I want to see that. We were just talking about how everything spinning just forms these straight lines, and then there's this one moon that's just way off from the rest. Okay. I'm curious if you know what that is. Is that Titan?
Titan? I thought Titan was closer to Saturn, which is one of the reasons why we've been nervous to go there because of the tidal. Actually, I don't know. I don't know where Titan is. Let me do the. I think.
Yeah, but I don't know that we can really tell which one's closest just by our perspective from here. Anyway, though, just because it looks closer.
It would probably depend on where Titan is in its rotation around Saturn. Because if it's behind Saturn from us, it's going to look closer. Like if it's just like to the edge, I'm curious. We got a couple seconds here.
Yeah, there's one moon that's just lost. I want to see what that one is. But Saturn has a lot of moons. It has over 60 moons, right?
Saturn is a beast. It is I'm doing 100 seconds. That's not a good idea.
That is going to be slightly overexposed.
just a smidge.
Just burn a hole through your camera.
Oh, God. Let's do 10 seconds. So, yeah, Saturn has a ton of moons, but I don't think we can photograph most of them because a lot of them are small.
I'm a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan. Did you ever read Kurt Vonnegut? Any of his stuff?
I haven't heard the name before, actually.
Oh, man. What have you been doing with your life?
Apparently not a lot of good things. So we got a
reading
cloud.
Kurt Vonnegut. Not reading Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah, well, anyway, he has this book called Sirens of Titan, and it was the first place I ever heard of Titan. Way before, I didn't get into astronomy until I was like 28, and so, but I was just completely addicted to reading, and so reading these Kurt Vonnegut books, and he, came across this Sirens of Titan. I was like, what is Titan? Is this a real thing, or is this just some, sci-fi thing? And then when, 5 years later, get into astronomy and I see this Titan again, I'm like, oh my God, like that's fascinating. It's a real place. And Kurt Vonnegut talked about it.
What is what are the books about?
I mean, his most famous book is Slaughterhouse-Five. Have you ever heard of that one?
I actually have heard the name before.
Yeah, he has an incredible story, man. Just a true humanist. He was in Dresden in World War II, which was just an awful situation. Dresden got firebombed. And he was there when it happened, prisoner of war, had to carry the bodies out and like all these charred bodies. And it was just a mess, But yeah, if you haven't read it, I'm not going to tell you about it. Just read it. It's a short read worth every minute of the time it takes to read it. If you can get a Vonnegut book at all, it doesn't matter which one, just get it and read it.
Urbo says Slaughterhouse is amazing. That's the one that I've heard of. I'll have to pick it up. Animal Farm, Slaughterhouse-Five. Vonnegut is good. Everything. Interesting. So Clapterbug says Saturn has 82 moons. But here's your overexposed thing. So right here is Titan. Then we got some smaller moons in there. I don't know what those are. So I believe the one that you were saying, that lost moon, is Ieptis, which is right...
The one at the top of the image?
So Ieptis is... So there's a lot of stars back here, too. Ieptis is right here.
Okay.
So it's very faint compared to the other moons. Then we've got... God dang, we got so many. So right in here...
You got a lot of Vonnegut fans here in your chat. Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. That's a great Vonnegut quote. Yeah, Animal Farm was George Orwell, who my dog is named after. I have an English bulldog named Orwell. Screw Tape Letters was C.S. Lewis. But yeah, Vonnegut. All of those are phenomenal. Go read all of them. Read everything you can get your hands on. It's all good. Everything people are mentioning here is great. Anyway, I should probably dive out, try to get some sleep.
Yeah, no.
But this is always fun, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining, especially on short notice. I was like, hey, you want to do this tonight?
Yeah, no, it's fun. I'm glad to do it. I'm gonna pop over and just say hi to Greg for just a second.
Is he streaming?
I may even just text him and be like, hi,
nice.
Greg. Just a random.
Hi, Greg.
11 o'clock at night. Hi, Greg. But yeah, it's thanks for having me, man. This is fun, and we'll have to do it more now that we can do some astronomy and get this stuff running. I want to see that plane wave in action.
Yeah, it's I want to see it in action more too. I've only got to use it like 3 nights. But no, it's exciting. We'll have to do this again. And thank you again for coming to hang out. Thank you to everybody for just this impromptu stream. I was like, we're going to do this. And I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's late for you, so thank you, man.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody in the chat for tolerating me here for an hour and a half, however long it's been. Yeah, you have the best community, man, that I've seen online. Like, you really do. It's amazing watching it. And I'm looking forward to this year when you do your event. I'm like honored to even be like participating in a part of that. It's amazing what you do.
That's
man.
Amazing. We'll have to maybe pop you in for a little bit. I haven't actually done anything with other people for it, but maybe come in and just have a nice little conversation again, because I'm going to be streaming for a long time this time. And
I'd be happy to. I didn't mean that though. I just meant contributing. Last year. But yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to participate or to give it in whatever way I can to that. So yeah. Thank you again, man. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow to figure out whatever that secret was you had for me. And we'll talk more about that.
Yeah. No, I'll call you in the morning.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. This was fun. See you, man.
See ya. Let's see here. So let me close that. One of these. There we go. So the plan tonight was to do a lot more astrophotography stuff. I love you, Pumpkin. How dare you call him Pumpkin, Urbo? How dare you? We'll see if we can take a poke at a couple other things. The problem is there's just so many clouds out. It was supposed to be a clear night. And lo and behold, it has not been clear whatsoever. I was timed out. YouTube taking you down. Oh, man. Y'all are the worst. Baba Yaga. Oh, no. So we looked at Saturn, but the clouds are in the southern sky right now. We could look at the moon. I wonder if that would show up. Take a real close look at the moon. There's probably clouds there too. You're my favorite internet bean. But Dustin is now close second. Hey, Dustin's a good dude. I'll take that. Moon, please. Yeah, we'll take a... This is going to be like up close and personal with the moon. Like, thought we the best? You all are the best. Can you see inside your neighbor's house? The telescope would not be able to focus on the house. We could point it at the house and give him a scare, but we would not be able to focus on it. Let me change this up a little bit. Can you get the Big Dipper and Little Dipper? No, my telescope would not be able to see that, just because it's such a high focal length. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to look at it. Let's see if we can get the moon in here. Cameras. Please do more of this type of stream. I enjoyed it. No, absolutely. Oh, geez, you can see the clouds. Why is it doing this automatically, though? I would really like it to not do it automatically. There we go. God, that is such a good shot of the moon. Just having the clouds around it is super cool looking. See if I can hone this in a little bit more. Clouds! God dang it, get out of here! Big bright boy. Then the last thing you want to see is your neighbor wearing a man thong, right? Clouds make it spooky? It does, doesn't it? Makes it very spooky. Let me fix this. So that way when the moon peeks back through there, we should be able to see it a little bit better. Here it comes. A little bit. Come on, baby. This is actually a really good focal length for looking at the moon. I didn't even... It was my first time using this telescope to take a look at it. I was scrolling through some members' videos and found the video where you painted my dog, Amber. Nice job. Hell yeah, Jenny. Oh, that's awesome. She's camera shy? She is. Almost a full moon. But looking very nice. See the mineral spots there. So Tag, how's your heart? How's my heart? It's all right. It's all right. Due to censorship, it couldn't be a full moon. She's almost full though. I really wanted to do a stream at the halfway point because it's really beautiful. Because if you shoot it right and you have the right lighting conditions, you can get what's called earth glow. So you get half of the moon lit up, how it would be for, you know, a half moon. But then you get the earth glow where that light's bouncing onto the earth and then bouncing back and lighting up the dark side of the moon. And you get this really faint glow on the moon. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's hard to photograph though, and you have to have like a good night for it. Hey, Audrey. You're going to save my life. I love all of you. Audrey, thank you for being a part of it. Thank you. What is my favorite picture I have taken so far? It's definitely of the one I showed earlier of the elephant's trunk. My dad loved astrophotography and he passed away 4 years ago. So that makes me feel really connected to his memory. Aw, Ellie? I'm glad I can help out a little bit. Thank you for being here. It's so cool watching it just come out from the clouds. We are very close to being in good focus too, without even trying. Earthglow, new tag merch coming. It's such a shame that the clouds are out though. Yeah, the elephant's trunk is easily one of my favorites. See if I can pull up the image of it. I had it up earlier, but can I make you a moon blankie? I probably can. I've got the new blankets in. They're super duper nice. Super nice. Looks like we're gonna get one good view. There we go. Man, that's looking really nice. Oh, too much, too much. That's no moon. That's no moon. There we go. You can get the mineral spots there. If you ever come to the Southern Hemisphere, I'd love a Southern Cross image from you. I want to photograph some Southern Hemisphere stuff really badly. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to. See if we can get another clear photo. I changed the exposure so you can see the impact craters a little bit better, so they're going to shine a little bit brighter. Those will show up blue if you try and edit it in a mineral moon. So you photograph with a color camera, and then you process it in a way to show like the different minerals on the moon. It's kind of interesting. Where's the cheese at? This would make a cool screensaver. Oh, Callie, have a wonderful night. Is there anything in the Southern Hemisphere you dream of seeing? There's a lot. Southern Hemisphere has some of like the best targets. I can't think of the name of them right now though. It's pretty cool to look at though up close. Very nice. But ladies and gentlemen, it's getting a little late. But we'll definitely do more of this. And hopefully, we won't have a cloudy night next time. So we'll actually be able to image a lot more things and be able to actually give you a tour of our galaxy a little bit better. So we'll be able to do live views of other galaxies as well as nebula within ours. We'll hopefully be able to look at a little bit more planetary stuff and have some fun. I want to see Steve's. Ever since you mentioned them, I've been fascinated. Man, I would love to see a Steve. Oh my god. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. If you did enjoy this, make sure to hit the like button. Let the YouTube algorithm know that this isn't weird. But I hope you all have a great night.